And welcome to another weekly review. Woot woot. We've got a lot to cover, and I've got a lot of things that I want to update you guys on, as well as give you a little bit of some tips for the contest. We always try to have the weekly review connected to some sort of like progressive tip. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Quick disclaimer, please remember to take everything I say with a grain of salt, and remember that although I do research for these videos, that I am not on the side to get analytics from Webtoons specifically to see what an exact hour looks like. So maybe some of my numbers might be a little bit off, but I do my best to copy them down every week at Monday at 8 p.m. CST. So I'm just doing my best here. So take the numbers with a grain of salt as well. But, you know, I'm just putting that forward so we know what's going on. 4 totals. So basically, we did not see a huge increase for the numbers from last week, which is so surprising to me. I really thought by the end of week 4, we would be pushing like 2,000 to 3,000 somewhere in there, just because of like how much like the contest has been advertised, how much people have been involved in this contest. I've heard so many people talk about joining this contest, which I know that leaves a lot open for people to join in the future. And probably considering the last contest, how the first place winner like pretty much entered at the very end, I feel like a lot of people are spending a lot more time on the contest this year with refining panels, shading, rendering, like just putting forth their best efforts. And so it's just kind of wild to me to see like how little the numbers are though. But I feel like it makes sense. Like I feel like in every competition where there's like some sort of time limit where you're making something, I think like Project Runway, I think about like any sort of cooking competition, those people are like cooking, doing whatever they're doing until the very last minute. And maybe that's the concept that a lot of people are having this time, where they're like, okay, maybe they did a contest in the past and they're feeling like, hey, I need to put forth my best efforts because I've seen that Webtoons does not necessarily care when I enter. So maybe that's why the numbers are low. That's kind of the only reason I can think of. I am still projecting that the contest will be anywhere between 10 to 12,000 entries, but with the rate that it's going, I feel like that might be slowly becoming very delusional of me. So let's look at each category. There was a significant increase to a number of these. Some only increased by a few, but Epic is still leading the way with having the biggest amount on the platform, which is really, really interesting to me because I feel like this indicates that there is like Webtoon has always been marketed as a romance platform, but they do have a lot of fantasy, a lot of action series on their platform. They're just not as big. And so it makes me wonder why that is, like why they can't bring that market in more. And it's just revealing to me even more how big Epic keeps growing. Like Epic is the one each week that has probably the most additions to it. Maybe I'll start including that as well, the number of additional submissions each week, so we can see that. But it's just very, very interesting to see how much these categories are growing and who's growing more. So Epic is still in first place. Next we have Feels. Feels is still one of the categories that I think is going to explode. I just feel because Webtoons markets itself so much to that genre that it just makes the most sense that this category will be the one to take away the crown for most submissions at the end of the contest. But it's just so interesting how Epic and Feels are going to be the ones with the most competition, even though each of these categories, like, I feel like the competition is going to be hard regardless. Like even if there was only 100 people that entered every category, the competition is going to be steep. Gripping has kind of stagnated a little bit. Like we're still getting people who are entering it, which is also interesting to me because I feel like Gripping is maybe one of the series that's a little easier to write. I could be delusional here in that aspect, but I just feel like doing like a murder mystery, doing any sort of crime show is much more easier to convey because I mean, I could be taking this a little personal because maybe I'm not as funny, so I feel like comedy's so hard. But comedy has kind of like pushed past gripping. So we have epic in first, feels in second, laughs in third, and then gripping falling into last place, which I guess we'll see towards the end of the contest what these numbers continue to look like. But I still feel like this is a small amount of people, so I'm hoping it continues to grow. True God of Destruction. Took forever, but I finally feel like I got something that'll help me continue to write. You got this, I promise. Rena said, it's interesting that epic is the biggest category by far, though action is the hardest to draw. I do think that's interesting as well, which makes me wonder if, I feel like maybe people are just inspired by it. Like, there's just creators that want to draw action and they see this as a big opportunity. Bubble Marble said, I check on new entries every day in case there are some worthy opponents. I'm not saying it's healthy. Yeah, that could be very detrimental, but I know what you mean. You do want to see if there's any front runners. Like, you want to see if any of them are standing out to you. I kind of have my eyes on a few series just because I'm like, I wonder if Webtoons is going to pick this or not. Like, even ones that don't have big numbers. And I'm trying to keep my eyes on all of this stuff just to be like, I really want to get more insight into what Webtoon as a publisher is thinking right now, what series they want to market and move forward with. Hi, Ghost Bunny. Andy said, most laughs has slice of life, so I would assume it would be the easiest to make comics on. You know what? I always forget slice of life. Like, you're actually so right. Slice of life, but I feel like it can also be hard to keep slice of life interesting sometimes because it can stagnate. But I guess in the first 3 episodes, as long as you set up a good premise, you're good to go, right? Chikyu said, someone please encourage me because life is happening and I'm lagging behind. Okay, Chikyu, this is for you. I feel that you are a very competent artist. I've seen your drawings. I've seen your works. Like, you could inspire a whole generation of slice of life creators. Like, believe in yourself. You can do this. I have faith in you. And even if you feel like you're pressured against time and whatnot, just focus on one panel at a time. Like, look at some panels, look at your script and decide like what panels you feel you want to draw. Like, maybe you want to do the more complicated panels. Maybe you want to do something to just treat yourself. Do some chibi drawings in your comic. Do something to really inspire yourself because you got this. Like, it's going to be so good. I promise. I'm so ready to see what you create, Chikyu. Winter said, fantasy genre doesn't have to technically have action, right? That's absolutely right. Again, Hooky is an example of a fantasy comic, and although it does have action in it, I'm just saying I think that you could lean more heavily into something that is just more epic in scale and plot. Like, think, I'm trying to think of an example on Webtoons. Like, every example that keeps popping into my mind is not Webtoons. Like, I'm thinking of like books and TV shows. So what could we consider to be epic that's not an action series on Webtoons? I'd have to pull up my little book, but I promise I have a few ideas. Maybe I'll bring up some next week. Cod said, most feels has a lot of BL. I was in top 10 by views, but they just pushed me down. I hope to at least stay in top 20. You got this. Like, remember, views numbers are really subjective, but because we're going to see how Webtoons feels about views when the contest is over. Elena said, maybe for the epic category, there are a lot of entries that were meant to be posted for call to action contests. It was called that, right? Yeah, it was. Maybe people are, entering from that. We'll see. All right, so let's move on to some of the more specific stats. We're looking at the most likes. So we have our top 3, and it finally happened, guys. Love Struck has been dethroned, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's interesting to see, like, they stayed in the top for so long, and this To Hunt a Vampirist really kind of like showed up and showed out, because if you look at all of their stats for everything, they're super high. Like the sub count, the like count, the view count, like everything is really, really high for them. And they're staying active. Like both Lovestruck and Vampirist continue to produce episodes. I guess they, like with Lovestruck, they waited a little bit. Maybe they refined that fourth episode or fifth episode, whatever you want to call it, and they decided to move forward with releasing something now to stay relevant. Like maybe they'll release another episode in May, but I think that strategy is really working for them. They released 3 episodes more or less. Oh, I'm talking about Lovestruck. They released 3 episodes in the beginning, and they just updated at the beginning of um April. So I'm like searching my mind for this, and I could literally be looking on the screen. But getting back to Vampirus, like look at that sub count. Like they are over 5,000 subs. Like they're in 6,000. That's crazy. Like it's doing so good. I haven't read this series yet, but I feel like with the way it's performing, it's definitely something that I need to check out. Like clearly it's very engaging in the way that it's written, or it like really leans into feeding the audience what they want, because that sub count is crazy. Like for it to only have 4 episodes, I feel like that's insane. Like it's doing really, really good. Comments, so it also has a lot of comments, which just, it could, again, I do not go through the comment section and look and see if the creator is responding to every comment, but even if they were, they still have a large number of people leaving comments, and that's really, really impressive. Like I just feel like that just shows how engaging the story is, in the way that if there's enough, because sometimes you'll read an episode and it's a good episode, but you don't have anything to say about it. So I feel like these episodes are leaving enough room where people want to talk about it. So I feel like if this series does end up winning, it would be one to definitely look into, to see how the storytelling is done, so that you can get that level of engagement right from the very beginning. Uh, K Mystery said, puzzle like adventure fantasies are a thing where it's more centered around uncovering the world's mysteries. Yeah, that's definitely something. Chiku said, in my opinion, slice of life doesn't have too much pressure to have larger than life art based on current originals, so many people must be encouraged to post in that. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot going on. Prince Boring said, it's called Love Struck, by the way, without the R. I'm pretty sure. What are we talking about? Did I miss something? Did I say something wrong? Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I was saying lover struck. I don't know. Uh, Bubble Marble said, it's interesting that not a single one of these 3 is in the most epic category. That is not interesting to me, because the readership that's on Webtoons is mostly drama and romance readers. So I feel like it makes sense that these 3 would be the ones that have the most oh, stuck. I'm saying struck. Okay, stuck. Love stuck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's not surprising to me that these 3 are in the top, because of the audience that's on Webtoons. Like the audience is geared towards romance, geared towards love, geared towards like more feelings type stuff. So I don't think that says anything necessarily about the epic category. It just says more about the readers who are on Webtoon. Okay, and then I Want to Kiss 100 Demon Girls. It also updated recently. It now has 4 episodes. Its viewership, its comments, and its likes are all pretty decent. It's doing pretty good in the category, but I do feel that it will be dethroned pretty quickly. With all of that being said, I also want to point out the rating here. Like the rating has like, I don't know if they've been rate bombed. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think an 8.5 is bad. I think that's a good rating. Again, Webtoon scales high, which I feel like is just because people give 10s to stuff. Like, people are not as critical on Webtoons, but I still think an 8.5 is good. So either people are like genuinely rating it a fair score, or they're just not getting enough ratings. But hey, again, I do not think the rating means anything to Webtoons, nor do I think it means anything to readers, to be honest. Because, hey, how many of us really read the descriptions or check the rating or look at the like count or the comment count before we, dive into a series? All right, so here are the top 10 in likes. I want to start including this every week to give us a better viewpoint of everything, just so that we can see like how other series are progressing, because I don't want the conversation to be stagnant and be centered only on the same 3 every week. And this can give us a good idea of what's shifting forward, what's moving up, what's moving down. We can also get a good look of the different art styles, and we can see some of the numbers for the likes for these series. So what I will say is really, really interesting is we see that the one of the series that was in the top 3 moved down to the 9th position. The Chronicles, the one that we have been talking about for a few weeks that kind of just like popped up out of nowhere, it is slowly moving out of the top 10, which again is not to say that the series is doing bad. It's just losing some traction. So I feel like, that could indicate a number of things. Like, maybe people just aren't picking it up. Maybe people, like, if it is in thriller, maybe people just aren't reading that genre. We're seeing like less and less submissions for it. So there could be a number of things. Oh, wait, is there tea? Rena said there are some that have 1 to 2K likes and like 1 comment at the end of the day. I'm convinced it doesn't matter at all. It's just cringe. About people boasting. Hey, I mean, I will say if you can get 1 to 2K likes, that is very impressive. I don't know if it's anything to boast about in the grand scheme of things, but I would be proud of it if I got something like that. Are there more? You know what? I don't know. I haven't seen any more AI comics, but there might be some. All right, so there's the top 10. You can take a screenshot. Hopefully, we'll see more of our community in the top 10 very soon. All right, so let's look at the top views. So here are the top 3. So, what's interesting about this is we see again 2 of the series from most likes are on here, which kind of makes sense a little bit because, if you correlate likes with views, like you could say, okay, obviously, if it's getting a lot of likes, that means it's getting a lot of views. Not necessarily. We have one that is like completely out of nowhere that is just getting tons and tons of views. I feel like what views kind of indicates, and the reason I want to include this going forward, is I think views is really based off of visuals. Like, people probably click on the series because of the art style. Like, it's eye-catching. It's something that really like makes people tune in. And like, when we look at the views for the Monster Odyssey, it's at 43,000 plus. That's crazy, because considering like all of the other numbers, like it has low subs, it has low comments, it has low likes, like all of that is like really, really interesting. So it's one of those things that just kind of like blows my mind how much the community on Webtoons wanted to engage with this series based off of the thumbnail. And I think what this also shows to me personally is that a simpler thumbnail that is more eye-catching is going to be much more appreciated on the Webtoon platform than something that's overly detailed. And I think if you look at originals, they always limit how many characters are in their thumbnails. They always limit how many, like how saturated the colors are. They limit, like the lighting. Like it really is most of the time just like 2 characters and a solid background. Like like a vibrant background so that the character really pops. And I can see that here with this thumbnail for Monster Odyssey. I feel like it really indicates like just how this creator understood the assignment. And I think for all of us going forward, it's important to understand that webcomics are a visual medium. So we have to take into consideration how we choose to present the series, because you want someone who's never heard your comic, who's never read your comic, who doesn't know anything about your comic to click on your series because the thumbnail is interesting enough in a sea of thumbnails. Blue Marble said, I plan on posting my comic on April 21st. I hope it's not too late. Listen, Bubble. I said Blue. But listen, Bubble, I'm planning to post May 14th. So I think you're good. Oh. Chick, you said not boast, boost. I am just struggling today, apparently. Like, I am misreading everything in chat. So I'm sorry about that. Oh, man. Okay. So here are the top 10 in views this week. So again, we can see that the top 3 from most likes are here. And so it's really, really interesting to see the comparison to the top views to the top likes, because they're essentially pretty different. Like, looking at a lot of these series that are on views, I feel like this really indicates like the visual aesthetic more, because people are picking these series up because of the way they look. And I think that's really, really interesting to consider if you're entering the contest, to consider like what is the best thumbnail for your series, like what will make people move forward and click on it and pick it. Yes. May 14th. Yeah, I'm flying very close to the sun. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It might even be May 15th. Like, it all depends. True God of Destruction said, I just want to finish before the last week of submission or something. I don't want to finish last minute again. It's too stressful. Well, that's what I'm doing. I am going to be finishing at the last minute. Like, I'm sorry. There's just no way. There's no way. I'm doing my best over here, but I'm struggling. Okay, so with that, that will end our weekly review. I just want to offer a little bit of insight, a little bit of tips. I guess the weekly review is slowly becoming my own newsletter. And so I wanted to talk about art and visual presentation, because I really think that it's super important to remember that Webtoons are a visual medium first. Although people stay for the story, a lot of your initial engagement is going to come from the look, from what people find appealing. So it's important to really consider like putting your best foot forward in the contest overall and really giving it a leg up. So take some time and think about your thumbnails, think about like every aspect of, making sure that the story is interesting enough and engaging enough in the visuals that people will be hooked just from looking at, maybe just a few panels or maybe even just the thumbnail. All right, so what I wanted to say was lean into the vertical format, design scenes with a scrolling flow in mind. So a lot of people do like the S shape, like make sure that the reader is able to like, really immerse themselves into the scene almost like it's a movie. Like, that's something that one of me and my close friends, we talk about sometimes. It's like when a webtoon's really good, it almost seems like you're watching it opposed to reading it. And it's just because the flow is done so well. So always keep that in mind. Use the white space for dramatic pauses or the emotional beats. Like, take advantage of that. Like, sometimes, there is a format where you could just like easily just spread out panels so that they're just like a certain amount apart from each other, but take advantage of some of that white space. What is their name? Everything is Fine. The creator of that, he does such a good job of like leaving tense moments where it forces the reader to scroll, which builds anxiety, builds anticipation. So just consider stuff like that to really help emphasize certain things. And then vary panel sizes for pacing. One of the more recent newsletters kind of covered this, but just think about like long vertical panels, like Like, think about how to create the tension, think about how to make something more aesthetically appealing, think about the beauty, all of that stuff. Like, all of that's super, super important. Yes, yes, yes. Shikyu said we got this, people. I completely agree. Okay, next, this is going to be a story thing, and it's specifically because of the contest. Some people that I talk to, I feel like are really getting bogged down in the details of the story. And I feel like at this point, we are so close to the deadline. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, we've got like a month. Yes, that month will be gone, and you will still be working on episode 1 at the end of the contest. So think about like what is going to be the clearest way to tell your story if you're still on episode 1 or episode 2, episode 3, and just chop the other stuff. Like, make sure you hit that 40 panel count and then move on to the next episode. Like, I was talking about this earlier about my own series, and in the script, there was so much that I realized I have to cut just because of time constraints and the fact that I need to make that 40 panel limit. So just don't underestimate like how much time it takes you to do things. Now, if you're a fast artist and whatnot, fast flatter, whatever, then maybe you can stick to your own plan. But I would still say if you're still on episode 1, maybe even episode 2, it might be best to just cut some of the expository information, cut some of the fun scenes, possibly. Like there was a scene that I had in episode 2 that was just so much fun. It was a couple of characters having a conversation, and it didn't really add anything to the story other than context for their personality. I had to cut it because I don't have the time to draw that. Now, if I end up finishing before May 14th or May 15th, then maybe I'll have time to draw that scene, but otherwise it's just time to cut it. So I think clean storytelling beats ultra detailed art. So make sure that your expressions and actions are just super readable and that the plot is extremely clear. Prince Boring said, as a greedy thought, I hope I can end up higher in the likes ranking before the end of the contest. Hopes and prayers. I think you can. You got this. You got this. Prince Boring also said, I want to change my thumbnails to read more clearly, but I'm afraid of editing in case it's still illegal. I would say they did clarify a few things. So, I mean, you might be able to get away with it. At the end of the day, like if you feel like if that's really going to help your story, then not nobody else, I would do it. But that's because I feel like who's gonna know I'm disqualified? Only Webtoons will know if you're disqualified. Nobody else will. Nobody. So I mean, you do what you think is best. Oatmeal and Peaches said, it's a first for me. Everything is new. Like the contest? What are we talking about? Question, does it impact you if you're not able to get the 3rd episode out by the end of the contest? I would say so. The contest specifically says that you must submit 3 episodes. So I don't think there's any other way to interpret that to qualify, you have to have 3 episodes up. True God of Discretion. I see a lot of people doing so many panels in Discord. I don't know how y'all doing that. I'm just trying to reach it for every episode and make it entertaining as well. All those pages kind of crazy for real. I would say you have to also think about the fact that a lot of people who are entering the contest, this isn't their first webtoon. Like some of these people might actually be working on their comics like every day. And you do build up like a lot of skill being able to do things much more quickly, much faster when you're working on something actively. Like if you don't draw like this or you don't write like this, like you're going to struggle. It's going to take you time to figure things out because you have to put in effort. You have to learn the skill. Like it's not just something where you're like, oh, I draw here and there, I make illustrations. Doing a comic is so much more work. Okay, let's talk about thumbnails really quickly. So, judges and readers scroll fast, and that's a personal opinion of mine. I feel like it makes so much sense that people are not spending a lot of time on panels. I mean, other people say this as well, that maybe someone will spend like 5 seconds on it, maybe 10 seconds max. But I think like people are still going to scroll through and read it quickly, like even if they're reading it critically. Because one of the ways that I read is I read multiple times. So I will read it once to see if the flow is well, like it should be, and then I'll go back and read to like with a more critical mind. Because if the story is already struggling and I'm just reading it without any sort of critical thinking involved, then there's a problem. And so automatically I'll know, like, okay, when I go back through, like it's not just the flow, it's a bunch of other things. So just keep this in mind for visuals specifically. Your cover, your banner, and your episode thumbnails, they all need to stand out. Like, think of some of the best thumbnails that you've seen that have made you click on an episode. Oftentimes it's a character expression. Maybe it's a more sexy, steamy sort of moment. Maybe it's a new character introduction that they look really cool. Like, just think about what has enticed you to click on an episode and try and emulate that for your own thumbnails and series. And then think about banners. Like, and I didn't know how to like differentiate this. So cover to me is like the small box that you see on Webtoons, and then the banner is like the big long vertical one that you'll get to see. So that's what I'm talking about. These two things need to be good. Like, they need to be super, super good. And they need to not only convey the genre, but they also need to convey like that there's something appealing about your story. So if you're able to think, if you haven't posted yet, or if you're finished with your webtoon, just really think about like what is going to make someone click on your story, opposed to just doing something that you enjoy. Like, think of the reader, think of the genre, think of like who would click on this and go from there. So this is where I feel like shape language is so important. So you want to have like a character that is attractive, that is not just super cookie color. Like, no Kiratos, please. And you want to do bold colors. Again, this is something that I feel like is really important. Like, do not underestimate the power of just having a feel background and your character. Like, do not underestimate that. I think that can really work for a lot of people. I also think another thing that could work for thumbnails, episodes, all of that is close-ups with like emotion or some sort of mystery that is involved. Like that is something that can be really, really beneficial. And then let's just say that your title, whatever it is, like, I feel like it should be clean. And what I mean by that is, like, me as a reader, I should understand what the story is about. And I'm not necessarily saying like you need to be like, that time I got reincarnated into a worm that became a peacock that later became a dragon. Like, I'm just saying, like, it should set up, like, it should give me some information about the series, but doesn't leave me confused. Like, there are tons of series that I can think of that maybe readers clicked on it because like they wanted to know the meaning of why it was titled that. And a good example of this is Sub-Zero. Like, we don't really find out why it's called Sub-Zero until like season 2. So it's one of those things where I'm like, pick something that is going to have some sort of meaning, some sort of thought behind it, and make sure that it fits the genre and that it's clear to the reader like what the story is going to be about to an extent. Like, if you're going to set up mystery, set it up right. Do it right. Okay, so my question to the community: what is keeping you motivated during this big creative project, during the contest? Like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Like, I just want to know all of the details. This was the question from last week, but I felt like this was still an appropriate question. So just keep in mind that motivation is something that we all need the closer that we get to the end of the contest. So do not underestimate like your ability to help someone out by sharing your experience and sharing like how you're able to overcome any sort of obstacles that you're going through. All right, we're going to do a quick Q&A because, I mean, I don't actually have much time today. I have some plans this evening. I'm actually going to get a haircut. So I have to leave soon, but I just wanted to jump on and stream with you guys for a little bit. Let's see if I missed anything. Luz, hello. I'm doing pretty good. No complaints today. It was super, super chill. Rena said, when I was starting, I thought each episode has to be like a manga chapter equivalent where it's a story in itself, but you actually cut a chapter into 3 episodes. Yeah. Webtoons is a different beast. Like, probably a manga chapter is like 5 episodes in a webtoon. Minty Donut Spaghetti said, I'm a first timer, but I'm an illustrator and I was making my comic before the contest, so I was able to prep a lot of episodes in advance, and now I'm learning more as I continue to work. Yeah, that's the way it goes. For sure. Chikyu said, you guys, my VA artist friends are planning to voice and make a trailer for my submission. I'm so excited and nervous and thankful to them. Chikyu, that's amazing. Like, please link us, tag us, let us know when it comes out. I'm really interested to see it. Inked Vision, hello. Yes, Chikyu, show us in Discord. Agreed, we all need to gain some experience. Chikyu said, I'm a bit confused. Where are we seeing the banner? So what I was talking about was, like, you know how you have the cover image for your webtoon? Like, there's that image, and then there's that second image. I just don't know what to call it. It's also like a thumbnail cover type thing, but I don't know how to distinguish the two of them. There's like the vertical thumbnail, and then like there's like the square thumbnail, and then there's like the long thumbnail. And so like that's what I was saying when I was talking about banner. So like if you open the Webtoon app, hold on, I'm opening it. God, this thing is so slow sometimes. So like in your like my series, they're all in like that square. But then if you go down to like the newly released originals or to the like popular series, like they're more of a vertical thumbnail. Like that's what I was talking about. And like if you go to Canvas, where is it? I feel like I'm not even seeing it on Canvas. Oh. Like at the very top, it has like this long vertical thumbnail. And a lot of them have like the title name in it and stuff. Like that's what I was talking about. Oh, you're making an animatic. I want to see. Please tag us in it. Please. Yes, I gotta get a fresh cut for sure. Pollo said, make sure to touch grass sometimes. It helps with morale. I agree with that. Go outside. Get some fresh air. Pet a kitty. I feel like that could be taken out of context really badly. Pet a dog. I feel like that could be taken out of context too. I don't know. Don't pet anything. Andy said, halfway through rendering episode 2, joined the Discord and lurked around. Yes. I love a lurker. That could also be taken out of context bad. I'm just going to stop talking tonight. Moose, don't quit. You got this, I promise. Aryu said, can't wait to see your Webtoon Apollo. I bet it's going to be great. It'll be decent. Like, I'm excited about it. I still think the concept is super fun. So I'm planning to continue the concept after the contest. But I don't know what that will look like completely yet. Like, I'm having a lot of fun working on it as a Webtoon. I just know me as a Webtoon worker, like it would take me 20 years to finish the series. And I feel like I could just write a novel in 1 year and be done with it. And then like potentially hire out people for it in the future. Nero said, what's keeping me motivated is finally having a comic online that anyone can read. I've been working on another comic in the past for 3 years and it's not posted nowhere since I want to print it. Ooh, well, I would love to buy a copy. 3 years is a long time. Lone Wolf, what's up? Yeah, we're getting close to the end. Lucid said, hey, I wanted to ask how to join the Discord. Please ask Pollo. I'm just gonna have to start linking that in like every video and be like, there's the Discord link, guys. You want to join? Click on the link down below. Bubble Marble said, are you looking forward to signing a contract with Webtoons in case you win? I don't want to sign a contract with Webtoons. Like, I don't think I could keep the schedule up for them. I don't think that I would be a good person to work with because like could I do it? I think so. I just feel like you work yourself so much working on a webtoon, and I just don't know if I want to work 7 days a week. Like, that's the only way I would be able to stay afloat is working every day, and I just do not like that mindset. Like, I like to have days off. I like to be able to like stream. Like, honestly, I would much prefer to like work in creator relations if I worked at Webtoons, or work in social media or something if Webtoons was to offer me anything. Like, that would be the ideal situation, opposed to like being an independent contractor. It's struggling to keep up with the deadline. I don't know if I'm gonna make this deadline. Yes. Pollo is the GOAT. Let's all be honest. Oatmeal and Peaches. I'm getting motivated by all the artists in Discord. They're all so nice and talented. Oh my goodness, there are so many good god tier artists. Yeah. There are a lot of really cool artists in the Discord. Yes. I want to recruit some more members as well. As said, what count as a panel? Because sometimes I do those long scroll panels that you need to chop up, but like it's a single drawing technically. I would say on the safe side, add a few extra panels if you can. Because I'm doing the same thing and I'm just like, oh God, like this is technically one panel. Like, what the heck? So I'm just erring on the side of caution. Chickyu said, yeah, but we're supposed to make the vertical thumbnail for the contest, but I'm not seeing it for any of the submissions. I think because the submissions are in their own little area. So I guess you're right in that instance, Chickyu. Maybe you can cut time there and not have to submit something different for that. Maybe. Yeah, Chloe, you can join the Discord. Message Pollo. Just another human being laughing my butt off. Touch grass is so real. For sure. Mason Toy said, what do you think it'll take to actually be able to win the competition? Good art style, decent story that's not on Webtoons right now, like something that's a little bit different, but also very similar to what they're creating. And decent engagement, or engagement with potential. Like, and so what I mean by that, your story is created in a way that can be very engaging for readers. So I think there's a big difference, because sometimes you can have a really good product, but if nobody sees it, then it's a failure as a product. So if there's potential for the product to go to a bigger market and it'll have more success, then you want to put it in front of the people so that they get it. So that's where I'm like, it needs to have engagement potential over like the engagement, because I feel like if you have a series like, for example, Odyssey, Monster Odyssey or whatever, I feel like it has a lot of potential, because like clearly people are interested in the series because they're clicking on it to look at it. So that to me indicates that there's something there, at least visually, that people like, that would be really, I'm like, maybe through refinement, like the editing process, or maybe through something else, it could help it to really improve. But I'm just like, that's why I'm like, these weekly reviews that we do are so important, because I feel like it kind of highlights like what the audience / readers are looking at and what's getting them excited or what's getting them engaged. And so I think it's important, if you want to understand a better way to market yourself, look at those successful series. Hi, Perry. Yes. Pet with consent. Am I getting a haircut to look good for the intern? Me and the intern are going out tomorrow, so take that how you want. It's not our first date either. Lucid said, I'm trying to not overdo with the amount of panels, but I'm also trying to make the story. I'm just going to think you meant interesting at the same time. Hey, just don't overwork yourself. Do the best that you can. Just another human being said, the best thing is this gives you the opportunity to just start. Doesn't matter if you win or not. I agree with that. Like, don't put too much stress on yourself to win. Like, have it in the background as that would be a nice possibility. But remember, there's only going to be 40 people that win, and we're already at 1,500 people. So the statistics for this is already super low for anyone who's entering. Kaylee said, my contest submission is a separate story to my main one, which is unfortunately still on 3 episodes. Hey, you got to do what you got to do for the contest. After the contest, Minty Donut Spaghettios said, after the contest is over, if you guys can make your own comic websites for your comic, you can be able to do so much on it as a result. Yeah, most definitely. Nero said, what if you win? You have to sign a contract, right? No, you don't have to sign anything. Like, okay, I see what you're saying. So yes, if you win, you do have to sign a contract. Like, Webtoons isn't going to give you the money otherwise, but you can choose to not sign. Like, say they message you. This is the way I think it's going to go. Let's say they messaged me and I said, and they were like, hey, review this contract. Send it back to us. And then I don't send it back to them. Then they'll just reach out to someone else. Like, that's the way it's going to go. And then someone will just take my spot. So I feel like that's how it's going to go. Like, you're going to agree or not agree. Minty Donut Spaghetto said, I think of the rules. If you say no to the contract, you get disqualified. I'm not completely certain, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. There is a clause in the contract about, like, how during that period after they've selected or they're selecting people, that you have to send the contract back to them within a certain time limit. Nero said, I share the same sentiment as you. I don't want to grind forever under Webtoons. I don't want to ever sign a contract. I agree with that. I like the freedom of, if I miss the deadline, like, I'm not missing my entire livelihood. Like, I've worked this week. I want to get paid. Okay, I'm going to do like 2 more. I'll answer a few more questions and then I've got to get off. Di said, what genre are you entering? Epic. Specifically fantasy. Mason Toy said, I got like 100 plus panels a chapter. Oh my God. Don't hurt yourself. Minty Donut Spaghetto said, I'm not doing that contract. I saw the horror stories and they are bad. And they are a bad company overall. I rather take the money and dip. They're not going to let you take the money. So you have to sign the contract. Like, they've had that happen to them before where people just took the money and left. Webtoons, it's in the rules. The rules say that you have to sign the contract to move on. So there's no way. And I'm paraphrasing, like just look at the rules itself. But you can see exactly how they word it. Maybe I need to do a review on the rules for everybody. Like, it's been a minute since I've done that video. But let's look at the rules in a future stream. Oh my God. Perry, you're cutting it so close. Taxes are like right around the corner. Minty Donut Spaghetti said, third date already and you didn't spill the tea with us? Listen. We're trying to keep it under the radar. Like, you know, the Webtoon sniper team is already out to get us. So it's very cloak and dagger at the moment. I honestly shouldn't be telling you guys, but I just love to spill the tea with y'all. True God of Destruction, I feel like you should only focus on finishing than winning, in my opinion. Yes, that's the biggest hurdle. Like, actually finishing the first 3 episodes, probably focus on that before worrying about whether or not you're going to win any money. Like, you don't even know because you don't even have a comic yet. So just focus on that. Yeah, the situationship, it's definitely a slow burn enemies to lovers. So we're still at the enemies phase, but they just don't know that we're really entering into our lover phase, our lover era. Just another human being said, real. Considering so many peeps are re-entering their comics that are already running, and not to mention this year we got so many pros entering the contest, some comics are high on engagement. Yeah, but Webtoons said in their thing that they're looking for brand new stuff too. So and I feel like we kind of should have already expected pros to enter because of the prize pool. Are you said you have to sign one to go to the final round? Exactly, you do. They require you to sign it to get into the finals. Yup. Just another human beings that basically sell your IP to win a human prize. You won't sell all of it. You'll sell a percentage. Yes. I've really been debating to drop episode 1 early, but I'm like, I need to wait to at least until episode 2 is done because episode 1 doesn't. I feel like it needs episode 2 to really be able to like do anything. Oh my good grief, Lewis, no, I'm not gonna destroy anybody. Like, I'm just here to vibe, to be honest. I'm doing my best to enter the contract this year. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to end it here. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Our creator shout out. It goes to, you can pause the screen. It goes to the series Codename Colors. They're entering the contest. And I've read this series and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's super different and not what I expected. I really enjoyed this series. So fun. So definitely check them out, support them. You can check out the link in the description. And you know, tell me what you think about Codename Colors if you've read it. Quick thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all of the wonderful support. I cannot wait to release more Patreon content. I've been trying to release something every day since April started. I'm behind, but I'm releasing something every day this week. So, all right, guys, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye bye.